the President of the Republic sends his best wishes on the occasion of the New Year. The electric atmosphere for New Year's festivity at the People's Palace. For the international scene, the fight against COVID-19 remains new with the new Omicron variant. Welcome to our newsroom. On the occasion of the New Year 2022, the President of the Republic, Ismail Omar Guelleh, congratulated the citizens and residents by wishing everyone happy year full of joy and achievement, further progress and prosperity. Listen to the head of state.
Chers compatriotes, nous voici au seuil de la nouvelle année. C'est l'occasion pour moi de formuler les traditionnels vœux de santé, de bonheur et de prospérité à l'endroit de chacun d'entre vous.
My dear compatriots, here we are at the threshold of the New Year. This is an opportunity for me to express the traditional wishes of health, happiness, and prosperity to each of you. I also address my best wishes for a happy new year to our defense forces who watch over the security of our country at our borders and abroad. Ensure the noble mission of peacekeeping with brotherly and friendly countries. My dear compatriots, the year 2021 has had its share of events, among the main ones the continuations of the global COVID-19 pandemic with the appearance of new variants, regional political context once again under tension. We hope that in 2022, this event with tragic consequences will be definitively overcome so that life will finally return to normal and peaceful. More than ever, the world needs solidarity to face the increasingly violent crisis caused by inequality and excessive capitalism. Whether they are migratory, climatic, and sanitary, the responses required can only be collective and marked by the greatest humanity. On all these issues, our country will ensure in all consciences its share of hummingbird, as the writer Pierre Rabin, who passed away this year, so well told. Thanks to our faith, we will never lose our optimism. It is this optimism that has allowed our country to return to development and growth by creating solid and fruitful infrastructures on our territory. In jobs, revenue, our ports have established themselves in the global competition in maritime logistics as a reference due to their strategic location and their know-how. Because it is our people who carry it, and because we believe in it, our country will continue to rely on these assets to accelerate the development trend. In a globalized world where economic interdependence is the rule, we must preserve our country from these negative consequences. This is why we will equip our economy with a resilient shell that will allow it to face exogenous disturbance. The government will firmly undertake the necessary reforms to achieve this, which will involve modernizing our entire production system to bring it into line with the digital age. It will also require a diversification of our investments in order to exploit the tremendous potential of our regions. Finally, a better mobilization of the domestic resources and a modernization of the public management having for objective to assure an optimal valorization of the public expenditure will quickly undertaken. My fellow citizens, in 2022, we will not change our courses. We will continue to mobilize all energies on the pace of an inclusive development for all our citizens. For the pact of continuity that we decided together last April, it is also, above all, a pact of confidence that we signed together in the capacity of our country to advance on the pace of its future. My dear compatriots, let us look forward to this New Year's with great optimism. Let us enter this New Year's with much hope. Let us continue to make our nation prosper. Let us remain faithful to our republican values, our unity, our identity, and our national cohesion. Happy New Year 2022. Long life the Republic.
Pour l'ensemble de nos concitoyens. Car le pacte de continuité que nous avons décidé ensemble en avril dernier, c'est aussi et avant tout un pacte de confiance que nous avons signé ensemble dans la capacité de notre pays à avancer sur le chemin de son avenir. Mes chers compatriotes, nous envisageons cette nouvelle année avec beaucoup d'optimisme. Rentrons dans cette nouvelle année avec beaucoup d'espoir. Continuons à faire prospérer notre nation. Restons fidèles à nos valeurs républicaines, à notre unité, à notre identité et à notre cohésion nationale. Bonne année 2022. Vive la République.
The evening of the New Year was a festive evening. It was the occasion of a great musical gathering in front of the esplanade of the People's Palace. A great show was offered by the City Hall of Djibouti in partnership with the RTD to the Djiboutian youth. This musical evening was thus the object of a monster gathering of several thousand young people have converged in front of the esplanade of the People's Palace to the posters of the artists of reputation have animated them. The evening has seen the gathering of the Secretary of State for Investment, Safia Mohamed Ali Gadire, the Mayor of Djibouti City, Fatma Awale Usman, and the Director General of RTD, Aden Abdi Jama'a.
سنتك سنة نسوساي عافيتك نغنسي سنتك سنة نسوساي عافيتك نغنسي سنتك سنة مدلك يا معي عدو تركونا ضروري عدو جلق يا ذابي وحان كمانين جلي
رئيس تقول لي يروني وحتى غير لي هوينو لو وضع رياقي لو وضع رياقي رئيس تقول لي يروني وحتى غير لي هوينو نوريكم مكبر نوريس أمبول سني براخي نوريكم مكبر نوريس أمبول سني براخي
haysan asaga dayriye hibsan deeqda wehelkaba haysan miyaan mid kale
labadeenu waa iska helo waa isku soo hilownaayo jacayl buuxa hana qaadno sidaan kuugu hagarbaxayba aadna ilahaysaa
sooyaalka tilmaamaniyo taariikhdu siday cadday agitaabtee musiga sooyaalka tilmaamaniyo taariikhdu siday
The evening of the festivity year was the occasion of a mass exit of the youth, an occasion of a gathering between friends, and occasions of the New Year's tourism, for which the restaurant of the city was taken by storms by this crowd of young people, or each of one wants to have this sandwich and this drink, has the hand to go to follow the spectacles of the People's Palace. For the restaurant owners who for the occasion redouble effort to satisfy these customers come in mass for the evening of the New Year's.
mid sareeda lagu laday saatirkeen ha ka dhigo cudurrada saliyaba saameeyay aashiga saygooyay ee jiray sanad naga bogsiiyo caafimaad saleecana nagu
ama waxaan boona anaga iyo sanadka jadiidka
In today's world, being at the peace is not enough. The motto is peace. It is better to prevent that to occur, which is why Djibouti has reinforced its security. An important device was set up for the occasion. This device consists of a generalized control of all vehicles in circulation on checkpoint hidden through the main arteries of the capital, a control that allows to search the vehicle from top to bottom and identify the occupant of a forms of deterrence against any possible criminal. In parallel of control of road police of element of the group in intervention of the National Police patrol through the city has for the outfit also any bad intention. Thus, the National Police contributed to this evening is a night of feast. The Minister of Health, Dr. Ahmed Robil Abdille, made a statement on the airwaves of RTD on the evolutions of the pandemic of COVID-19 in the Republic of Djibouti and in the world, and the measures to fight against the epidemic of coronavirus in our country. First of all, he said, allow me to send my best wishes to the President of the Republic, His Excellency Ismail Omar Guelleh, to the First Lady, Khadra Mahmoud Haid, to all the staff of the Ministry of Health, and to the whole Djiboutian community by wishing them a good and happy year 2022. I pray to God that this new year will be synonymous with peace, health, and progress for all. I wish that this pandemic, which has affected the whole world, causing difficulties to our societies and weakening jobs and public health, will be a distant memory. Today, my message is about this COVID-19 pandemic, which started in 2020 and is still circulating in the world in the form of a new and even more dangerous variant. A new variant called Omicron, more transmissible and more virulent, has spread all over the world in Europe, America, Asia, and in Africa. This dangerous Omicron variant is reported even in the neighboring countries. I would like to remind you that since the beginning of the pandemic, the Djiboutian government, headed by the head of state, has spared no effort to fight against this global scourge. We have opposed a strong and effective joint response by mobilizing funds and all the necessary forces to protect our citizens and fight against COVID-19. All travelers coming from abroad, without exception, must observe a voluntary self-isolation of 5 days at home. In addition, we urge our citizens to avoid gathering more than 10 people in confined or enclosed areas. If necessary, we recommend that they wear masks and respect the physical distance of 1 or 2 meters. We also recommend vaccination against COVID-19, which remains an effective means of protection from now on. The wearing of masks is mandatory in all closed spaces such as mosque, public transport, wedding, market, and large commercial surfaces. We invite all Djiboutians, young and old, to be screened for regular basis. The preparation for the upcoming launch of the constructions of the regional hospital of Tajarrah, which will be realized thanks to donations of $20 million from the People's Republic of China. A delegation from the Ministry of Health went to the White City on Sunday, December 27, 2021, in the company of Chinese experts to make the final touches for the start of the preliminary work. Welcomed by the chief physicians of the Tajarrah Medical Hospital, Dr. Dimbio, the Chinese experts and health executive met with the authorities of the region, including the prefect and the predicate of the regions, as well as the elected officials, before starting the visit of the premises of the Medical Hospital of Tajarrah for the purpose of technical evaluations of the final touch. During 4 days, the experts of the Chinese company in charge of the construction, composed of architect, topographer, and experts in sanitation, have examined the various technical aspects. The population of the White City welcomes with the enthusiasm and satisfaction this beautiful news on the long-awaited constructions of the future regional hospital of Tajarrah, which opens a new era in the health development of the North region. This Thursday morning, the Community Development Center hosted the ceremony of awarding the certificate of completion of weak computer code, the basic training in computer science, which took place from Sunday to Thursday at the CDC Neighborhood 7. Benefited several young girls and boys residing in this large district of Djibouti in collaboration with the Association for the Preservation of Heritage and the Promotion of Peace. Were present the technical advisor for culture, Mohammed Hussein Douale, senior executive of the Culture Ministry, the director of the CDC Neighborhood 7, the steering committee of the associations, and the trainers. The officials of the Culture Department and the leaders of the association were pleased with the diligence and punctuality shown by the learner through this training. Finally,
this was only day. During my training at this CDC, I learned how to create my first game using Scratch software. I created my first subway with using HTML and CSS. We thank ISP in collaboration with the Ministry of Youth and Culture.
A strong delegation composed of the Director of Family, Fozia, and Administrative Directors of Financial, Ibrahim Dini, visited the region of Tajarrah for the institutionalization of the consolidation of the integrated female genital mutilations and service packages through the support of the BRG and community mutual societies. The workshop was attended by the Deputy Chief Executive Officer Habib Gilani and the Secretary General of the Regional Council of Tajora, Roble Mohammed, as well as the President of the UNFT in Tajora, Asham Abdulkader Sultan. The delegation was accompanied by the coordinator of the coordinators, Ahmed Gaba, the coordinators of the Female Genital Mutilation Project, and the international consultant who first presented the achievement and awareness-raising activity in the file of female genital mutilations. They then presented the mechanisms of collaboration with the decentralized structures of the administration to accompany and support the community-based mutual insurance organizations. Avenues of sectoral collaboration were explored under the supervision and involvement of local authorities, prefecture, and regional council. In addition, the file mission enabled the administrative and financial director, Ibrahim Din Ali, to set up as a system for centralizing the financial information of regional mutuals with the PLGs. The Djibouti Federation of Taekwondo organized from December 21 to 31 a training session for coaches, organized under the auspices of the Secretary of State for Sports in collaboration with the National Olympic Committee and Djibouti Sports through the Olympic Solidarity. The course was held at the multi-purpose room of the Guled Stadium. The training lasted 10 days and was led by the Nigerian technician, Master Imoru Asimi Mubaraka, 5th Dan black belt. It is about 20 nationality coaches of Taekwondo from different leagues of the country who have benefited from this course. They would have learned several technical concepts of this martial art of the South Korean origin. Among others, we can cite the new techniques of the managing of Taekwondo, fight basic and semi-complex movement, works without a target and with target, the applications of techniques in real fight situation strategy. The closing ceremony took place in the presence of the Director of Sports of the Secretary of State for Sports, Mr. Abshir Ali Hassan, the Director of Stadium, Fatuma Ali Dabale, the Secretary General of the Olympic Committee, Faisal Abdurrahman, and several other members of the State Secretary for Sports and Federation. In his speech, the Director of Sports was pleased with the smooth running of the course before paying tribute to the Nigerian experts, Master Imoru Asimi Mubarak. For the international scene, 2022 begins under the sign of Omicron, exceptional measure against the pandemic. The Red Square was empty at midnight for the passage of 2022. All over the world, festivities have been reduced and gathering restricted in an attempt to curb the spread of the disease. The symbolic milestone of 1 million new cases per day worldwide was passed a few hours before the end of the year 2021. In Athens, the traditional New Year's Eve fireworks were still held over the Acropolis, and while in Berlin, police had asked Germans not to gather at the Brandenburg Gate, where a concert was held without an audience before the sound and light show marked the New Year. In the evening, President Emmanuel Macron presented his best wishes and declared himself resolutely optimistic, hoping that 2022 would be the year of exit from the pandemic. Gathering also limited in Madrid, where the authorities had allowed only a maximum of 7,000 people on the Puerta del Sol, which usually hosted 20,000 despite a record 32,000 infections. Australia maintained its New Year's celebration as every year thousands of fireworks were shot into the sky over the famous Opera Bridge in Sydney. A few thousand Taiwanese gathered at midnight in Taipei, where in her greeting, the president addressed the Chinese authorities to avoid any military adventurism. For its part, Bangkok maintained its firework display and tried to spare the tourism sector. Finally, Dubai remained faithful to the excessiveness of its New Year's with 36 fireworks that set the city ablaze on 29 different sites, and particularly on the 828 meter. This is it for the news. Thanks for watching us. Have a good evening and Happy New Year for all.